Right, so I'm going to show you how I increased the revenue in this account by almost $550,000 whilst slightly improving the return on ad spend period on period. This is purely based off my own experience and what I've found to, be the best approach when it comes to Performance Max campaign structure. I'm not going to get into like how to set up a Performance Max campaign, what are the best settings, all of that stuff, because to be honest, there's like a million videos out there on YouTube that, runs through that stuff. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is really like how I changed the structure in this account around Performance Max campaigns to really improve revenue this significantly. And to be fair, unless you've stuffed up the Performance Max campaign setup, like you've, you know, enabled a setting that has allowed you to spend a stupid amount of money, or you've done something that you shouldn't have done when it comes to the settings, you know, tweaking settings here and there, it's not going to get you the biggest result in terms of improving performance. If you want to really improve performance in your account, right, to this extent, it comes down to having a really, really solid structure. That's what's going to get you, a really good and solid result moving forward. So let's get into it. What you need to know from the beginning is what your gross profit margins are for each product category. Now, this is something that a lot of businesses actually don't know. And most accounts, most businesses as well, typically have a, like one return on ad spend target that they use as a KPI for their entire account. That might be a 10x, an 8x, whatever it is. They have one KPI, and as long as you hit that on a monthly basis, everything is good. Now, that can work if the business is relatively small when it comes to product count. So maybe you only have like 50 products. You don't have too many products. Well, then maybe like the GP or the gross profit margin is quite similar across all those products because you don't have many. And if that's the case, then fair enough, right? You can just have one ROAS target and you'll be fine. But most of the time, if you have like more than 100 products in your account, or in your business, I should say, you're not going to just have one gross profit margin that covers your entire product range. It's going to vary per category, and that's what you need to know. So if you have like 100 products, let's just use that as an example, maybe 20 of those products have a gross profit margin of anywhere between 20 to 30%, right? And you need to identify that. And then you need to see whether, maybe another group of products has a gross profit margin of like 50 to 60%. You need to go through all of your products and categorize them in this way before we start structuring our accounts in Google Ads. And that one little tweak or one little like thing is going to make the biggest difference. And I can almost guarantee you that will put you, in front of like 90% of your competitors, because they're not going to that extent when structuring their campaigns. Now, once you know that, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to now want to structure your account around those categories, right? So let me just get this Google Sheet up. So this is what that could look like, right? And I'll kind of show you how I've worked this out. It's very, very simple, I promise. So, all right, you have worked out that these are the three gross profit margin categories that cover your entire product range. You got one that, is 20 to 30, 25 to 30%, 30 to 40%, and 40 to 60%. Okay. Once you know that, you want to calculate the minimum ROAS target you need to achieve to, be profitable, right? And to be profitable. So for the 25 to 30%, that's going to be 400%, and so on. Now, how did I calculate that? It's very simple. All you need to do is put this formula in, and you're going to do equals 1 over whatever the margin is, the minimum margin, which is 25%. So 0.25, and it's going to give you 400%, and that's the minimum ROAS that you need to hit on a monthly basis. All that's telling you is if your profit margin is 30%, you need a ROAS of 333%, or 3.33, because for every $1 you spend on ads, you need to make $3.33 back to cover the ad spend and keep your 30% profit. That's essentially what you're calculating here. And once you calculate that, then when you go and set up your campaigns in the account, you can categorize your products you can categorize your campaigns, I should say, based off these margins. So you'll have one campaign, and you'll put all of your products that fit that criteria in that campaign, and then you can just title the campaign literally, 400% ROAS, or whatever, maybe 400, or like 4 to 6x ROAS, and you know that that's the target you need to hit for this particular campaign. Then you do the same for the next one, and then you do the same for the next one, right? And that's how you set it up. And this is going to allow you to set bids and budgets based off, those targets. Because let me give you an example what may happen if you don't do this. Let's just say you have a blank KPI of 500%. You need to hit 500% per month in your account to, be profitable or whatever. That's just the KPI that the business has set or you've set. And you hit that, and you think, you know what, this is great. I'm hitting my target. Everything is good, right? But now let's say that particular account or business has, 500 products in their range. Now, when you go and, look at the exact products that Google Ads is pushing to achieve that result, you might find that most of the products that are being pushed are cheaper products, because typically Google loves to push cheaper products as they they're just easier to sell because they're cheaper, and you're going to have a high conversion volume or purchase volume for cheaper products. So Google typically gravitates towards pushing these cheaper products, right? And these products might be $50, let's just say. And the cheaper products have a lower gross profit margin. The margin might be like 10% on these particular products, right? And, you think that everything's good, you're making money, fantastic, and you're in your account and you're seeing a 5x. But then the client's coming to you, or the business or whatever, and they're saying, hey, what's going on? Like, we're not profitable, we're making no money. And you're sitting there and you're like, what do you mean? We've got it 5x ROAS, everything's great, and you think everything is great. And, you've got two different opinions and you have no idea why. That will hopefully be prevented if you just implement this structure, because now you will actually have an overview of what's happening. And you can say, all right, well, we're actually not really making much money on this particular category of products because we're only achieving a 2x ROAS, right? Or 200% ROAS. And okay, well, maybe let's start pushing these products more because they're achieving a 500% ROAS. That's what this is going to allow you to do. And that's what I did for this account to achieve that huge increase in performance. I went in, I worked with the business, or I worked with the client, I should say. We segmented products by profit margins. We created those campaigns, and over, the next few months, I was able to allocate more spend towards those categories that were just, doing so well, and I allocated less towards those categories that didn't do as well, right? And that's what you're going to do. It's as simple as that. So I hope that was useful. I hope you learned something, and yeah, see you in the next one.